Noisecast.
Noisecast in episode 32. At the turn of July and August, Harshways Fest was held once again in Turku. It is already fourth time that this festival is held, and seems like every time the festival just keeps getting better and better. And even this time the lineup was very impressive. I suggest everyone to go to Special Interests website and read the excellent report that is written there about the festival. I will include the links in the description of the YouTube video if you are watching or listening this on YouTube. And there's also a video compilation on Special Interests YouTube channel, so you can get even better impression of what happened, how the sets looked and sound like. I had good time at the festival as usual, and I saw some acts for the first time ever. Kurlok and Resting Place played both really good shows, and they actually put out a split CDR that came out at the same time with the festival. So if you have contact with either of the artists, I suggest to get in touch and ask about this split release. Should probably be available from some distros as well, I think. Chloroform Rapist played a really good oppressive gig on Friday. And as well, it was a little bit tough spot because Grunt absolutely obliterated the audience. It was easily the best grunt gig that I've ever seen. And it was a tough spot to play after Grunt, but they really did a good job. It was an excellent ending for the Friday night. On Saturday, it was really a pleasure to see Six Seed back in business. And this gig was very, so to say, classic Six Seed action. They ended the set with a very classic song from the Great Corruptor LP. That was a personal highlight for me. Birth Death was like very basic, solid power electronics, using quite the traditional stuff, but used it very well and effectively, and it was a very enjoyable set. Fikalov, well, Fikalov is Fikalov. It's always something a little bit special. This time the set was basically power electronics, but it's kind of feels like an understatement to just lump Fikalov under power electronics, because there was a lot of like harsh noise elements. Yes, there was very excellent shouted vocals, but there was many types of things during the gig, so not power electronics per se. Rita was the headliner of the festival, and it was the perfect ending for the fest. It was a complete avalanche of distorted noise, starting with these wet and like crushing sounds, and from there like building up the wall, building and building and building until it was just this harsh noise ecstasy. And the gig was accompanied by a dancer who had this kind of a white dress, not a dress, but something in the vein of that, and had like a shark bite blood stain on the feet, emulating the shark bite wound. It went very well with the gig. Gave it a little bit more special touch than an average harsh noise gig. Speaking of the Rita, he's the guest for the next 2 episodes. In this first part, we discussed the collaboration with Gloria that was supposed to be on Harshways, but it got cancelled on Gloria's part, but you will find out about that in the interview. Also about the early stages of the Rita, how live shows started to happen, a little bit about aspects of wall noise and working with Keith Brewer because the Rita did few splits with Mania, so I was personally very interested to hear about him and his contact with Keith. And then we also discuss about modern noise culture.
Noisecast has arrived to Turku for the Harsh Ways Fest 4th edition. And today we have the headlining artist of the festival, the Rita. Sam, nice to have you here.
Hi, stoked.
Originally you were supposed to play with the Gloria, but unfortunately she had to cancel. How did this collaboration, so to speak, came about?
A while ago, Francesca kind of popped up on. Didn't really pop up, but I've known about her project like a bit ago, and I remember, or like years ago or whatever. And then I remember I was just doing like a lot of collaborations with like different artists or whatever, and then out of nowhere, I got a message from Francesca that was just kind of asking like, oh, it'd be amazing if we like worked with each other. And of course, just being on each other's radar or whatever.
Yeah.
And then seeing that there's a lot of like similarities and parallels and everything. And yeah, just incredibly like Francesca's project is easily one of the strongest projects now, in my opinion. I think it's just like every level of it is like apex.
Yeah.
And I was also, I mean, like ironically, I was kind of going through a big change in my life as well, because I was going to move to Vancouver Island, and I was just doing all this other stuff, and I was going in like different directions and everything, and I was I was just kind of really anxious about everything going on in my life, and I kind of like half jokingly even told, well, not really jokingly at all, I even told Francesca a long time ago, I said, your project is strong enough and you're so into the what I do in the Rita and everything, would you ever think about just being the Rita?
Yeah. Huh. That's pretty interesting proposal.
You know what I mean? And then like even all the way down to like just if you are asked to like play a show in wherever and you do it, and then like I'll sign off. Like you can just do it as the Rita if you want, and then take advantage of whatever. Right? But but then again, the more I thought about it, and the more I looked at her work and everything, it was obviously just kind of insulting. Because I'm also just like, yeah, your work is stronger than mine.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I know you've always been a fan and everything, but it's like, but so then it was just it was more of a natural thing just to like work with each other. So out of nowhere, I was doing that giant show in China last year, and then Francesca and her son were planning a trip through Mongolia, and they decided to make the stop at the festival, and then that's when we did the collaboration there, and then
that was the first one.
Yeah. Oh, and then we worked on like a split tape with each other and everything, and I don't know. So it was just kind of like a natural thing, like a natural collaboration.
How's the festival in China? Sounds pretty interesting.
It was amazing as fuck. It was. I talked about it yesterday with Ollie and them, but the key thing about it that I really enjoyed was that there was a lot of local acts, like Chinese acts, and what was really interesting about it was that every act really came out of left field. So it was like everything was like it was very kind of like more like performance art like driven every act. But they still had tons of volume, tons of thunderous noise, tons of like silent spaces, and then massive cracks of noise and everything. But lots of different examples. Like it wasn't just like a festival where it's like a table of pedals like over and over and over. It was very much like one guy I was talking about yesterday, mic'd up having a dinner. It was like a 5-course meal.
Wow.
But every time he touched a plate, I mean, it's probably not like a new idea, but every time he touched a plate or moved a fork, it was like a massive crack of noise. And then there was this other act I almost completely forgot about where I can't remember it exactly, but he dragged out like a ton of furniture. And by the end of the set, he had like this 12-foot stack of chairs. And then, but it was the same thing. Every time a chair fell or moved or he climbed on it, it would just be this massive thunder crack of noise, right? Of sound. So the whole festival was that. So you're just kind of like, holy shit, like
Must be like a totally different experience.
yeah, it was great. I mean, and again, there was people that told me they're like, oh, it kind of looks more like a artsy scene there or whatever. And I'm like, no, it's like you're at like, because I played there with Alice Kemp, who I've also been like elaborating ideas with lately and everything, who I also look up to like immensely.
Yeah.
So I was playing with Alice Kemp, Aaron Dillaway, Rudolph Eber, so it was very much like a curated festival where like all those people do very, very different, like quote unquote strange things as well, right? So it worked out well.
Sounds like there was like best of the both worlds that have that sort of performative part, but still have like really harsh and ripping sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like lots of concentrations on like I think that's kind of like where things are slowly going right now as well. Like the more that we're like looking at like what the Americans are up to in the Midwest, everyone's like miking things more carefully, but they're still really concentrating on really harsh sound or whatever, right? So, yeah. And
you also collaborated with the Gloria in Italy, I think.
Yeah, just recently in Italy as well. So yeah, and that also turned out amazing. But that's where her life took this completely insane 180 turn lately.
Okay.
But it's all good news.
Okay.
So it's all she finally got the house of her dreams in the middle of like a dirt road in Italy, like literally in the woods, and it's like amazing. And I can't remember where it is exactly, but it's just, and her son is already there now, and they're just nice. Rebuilding this whole house, and it's just like, it's like the more I looked at it, it's like the 1920s Italian dream. Wow. Like, well, minus wars and all that. like coming alive. And for her and her son, it's been a lifetime of wanting something like this. And it all fell into her lap. Like, literally. Wow. Like, I was supposed to do some recording and projects with her, like a few days after the thing in Italy as well. And then, but out of nowhere, she's like, I'm signing the papers like the day after the show. So I'm just like, awesome, you know what I mean? And you could feel the excitement, and I also knew, awesome. Like, I know her well, and I was like, oh no, like, you wanted this.
Yeah,
like,
go for it.
Yeah, fucking awesome, so.
Well, if we go way back in time, what made you record your first tape as the Rita?
Basically, I mean, the easiest thing is, like most of us, I got into like harsh noise really, really into it in the early 90s, and then, via Merzbow and Incapacitants and everybody, crowd. And then, and then got into the American stuff, still didn't really have a plan to like make my own or whatever. And then when I finally got my hands on Dead Body Love Lo-Fi Power Carnage,
classic. Yeah.
That's when I decided that I think I want to do this.
Yeah.
And it was also it helped out a lot because I was working alongside good friends of mine. Were in a noise project called Vote Robot, and they were good friends with the whole Scratch Records crew in Vancouver. So that would be like Zev Asher, Costes even had an album on Scratch Records. So my exposure to noise back then was really like it was really incredibly well rounded because I was chasing after all the harsh noise, like the pedal noise guys, and then but at the same time I'm getting exposed to like Evil Moisture and like
yeah,
all the
yeah,
weird,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, quote unquote weirdos, you know, and
Yeah.
they're doing all these interesting things. And Vote Robot in Vancouver, or not in Vancouver, in my hometown of Kelowna was very much a part of that. So not only was I listening to things that now I'm starting to think like I wanna hear that sound more, like, and then they're like, well, dude, like, you want us to help you make it, you know? And they had everything, so it was easy for me just to kind of like do it, you know what I mean? So
That's a great spot to be in. And especially like that time of the 90s when like American noise was like really growing.
oh, it's fucking crazy. And what's neat and what really helped out a lot too is that all of those guys, all friends of mine, Kevin Rivard of Vote Robot and Scratch Records, they were like the major Canadian distributor of anything weird, like any experimental. So anytime they got the old fax sheets of the catalogs,
Nice.
anytime I saw Merzbow or anything, I just ordered all of it. Like I just told Kevin, yeah, I want all of that. And then and then of course I started to get stuff off Self-Abuse and Relapse and everything.
Yeah.
And you know, and again, it's like back then you're buying all the golden classics, but just like, oh, what's this album?
Yeah.
And now it's like people would like kill for it, right? But
time.
anyways,
How did the name come about?
the name is I've always been a massive fan of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the barge that they go up the Amazon to like find him on is called Rita. So I just called it, and then during the movie they refer to it as the Rita. Like, do you like the Rita or whatever? So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm just calling it the Rita. But I've always been a massive fan of 1920s, 1930s pre-code vamp actresses and like flapper actresses and everything too, and so yeah, I just loved having the idea of having a woman's name on like everything, you know what I mean? So like it, yeah,
Celebration of the of the female figure already began, kind of like in the name.
Exactly, yeah. So
I read the article that you wrote on As Loud as Possible magazine.
Oh yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, it's been a while back, but there you talk about the you use the term wall noise, I think. So if you can give like a small crash course on how did Harsh Noise Wall kind of began?
Harsh Noise Wall was purely a way that like people like me and Phil Blankenship of the Cherry Point and you know like Sewer Election and like Tommy, like, you know, all of us, like when we talked about noise, it was literally all it was I like this because it's more of a quote unquote wall of noise.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So back then it wasn't like I take all the blame for making it like into like a dramatic thing, but back then it was seriously just you know, like if you got kind of burned out, I loved it all, I still do. If you got kind of burned out on listening to a bunch of cut up, like really violent cut up, and you're, you know, and we're playing all these festivals and shows and everything, and like 3/4 of the acts, it's like proving ground for who mastered their pedals the best, right? So anyway, so if you're listening, but then when some like incapacitants or like more of like a blistering full kind of like you know like not a lot of shifting, still tons happening, but no like silent cuts and everything, no, you know, quote unquote lasers. So back then for us it was just like, oh yeah like that I love the incapacitants, Aporu, I can't remember how it's pronounced, anyways, because it's the greatest wall of noise. Or I love a Portuguese Man of War, like Monterey, because it's the greatest wall of fucking noise. You know what I mean? And then so then after more and then so I'm doing Rita stuff, and I'm slowly like layering, and then you know, and then I'm like talking more with Phil Blankenship and the Cherry Point, and sewer election and Gordon Ashworth and even Jane Borges and yeah, and it was basically just, it got to the point where we're like, well, if we want to do walls of noise, why don't we just keep pushing it till it's just exact crumbling and
absolute limit,
cracking sounds, and then and then keep fucking with it, like that total slitting of throats, you know, like, and then that's the first time we used the term HNW, but all it meant was harsh noise wall, but for you know, with me on the back with the balaclava and the knife and the pedals.
Classic picture.
Yeah, but anyways, it's like, so that's kind of like what it was, and then I remember, so essentially it was just a descriptor, but then we thought it'd be really badass to like run with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you think there was like at least a little bit of like a rebellious attitude behind it?
Kind of, but there's no reason there had to be because when I think about it, it's not like we had any animosity towards there were some like really gnarly dramatic wars going on between laser noise guys and cut up guys, which got really like dirty, like like that broke up whole scenes, but that was all the way down to just sounds, like certain sounds, right? That wasn't even like cut up versus cut. It was like cut up versus cut up, but this cut up uses laser sounds and this cut up doesn't.
That's ridiculous.
Right, but I mean, what was fucking crazy though was the pushback was like gnarly. Like I always think about all those like days and days on the forum of me like even trying to argue a little bit, you know what I mean? Because I wrote that we started writing like manifestos and everything too, and then in the midst of all that, I got a letter from Romain, and he's still trying to pick out the name of his thing, and he's a big he's like a Rita fan, like Cherry Point fan, and he sent me some like CDRs and like whatever, and you know, and again it's just like wall noise, right? And then he's like, I don't know what I should call it, like I'm calling it this, but I'm just like, well, dude, just call everything Vomir. Like, just do it, you know? Like, I can't remember exactly how it went down. I'm not going to take all the credit for, you know? But anyways, and then he was like, okay, great. And then it was right around, then he just went fucking hard with it. You know, like Vomir, right? And he still is. And then right around then, though, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna still doing what I do, but I'm just gonna keep pushing along. You know, like I'm gonna like do this and this and this now too. But what the most important thing for all of us, well, me at least, is that wall noise was just a way to like get our heads wrapped around really listening to like those things. And now, even though I might sound a lot different now, it's all the same themes.
Yeah.
So it's all the same thinking, you know, like all the weird little crackling and like releases and nowadays it's all like pre-recorded like percussive things and everything. But to me, it's all exactly the same because it's all the exact same thinking. It's like an analyzation of a singular sound. Yeah. And then just like really portraying it, you know. But in the midst of all that, Vomir fucking ran with it, and then because I was even thinking like, oh man, this I can't it's just not in me to just go full manifesto and just make a career out of doing an unchanging Ada, and then he did.
Yeah, now he's one of the classics of the genre.
Yeah, and now I'm just like fucking Vomir, you know, and I'm just kind of like, holy shit, he did it. But again, it's just the amount of fucking punching that we took during all that though was fucking insane. Like and it's just, you know, but now it's like it's a fucking genre, and I'm just kind of like, what happened, you know? But again, it's like what I've talked about a lot in the past. It's like the most exciting part about it is that it means there's a lot of people listening really closely to harsh noise. Yeah. And I think wall noise was kind of like an avenue for people to like think more about that. You know?
Yeah, I think wall noise kind of makes the listener to listen more attentively.
Yeah.
You kind of have to listen to carefully to find out the details, the subtle changes. And
Yeah,
stuff like
especially
that.
back when we were first describing wall noise, right? Because, like releases of mine like Thousands of Dead Gods and like things like that. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of layers in there.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And it was actually my close colleague Gabby Lasanti that basically told me almost verbatim to stop doing layers.
Oh, okay.
and I took the advice like really to heart because it made me concentrate more on the singularity and importance of the other sound. But I think back to those days, and you're right. It's like what am I fucking listening to here? You know? And then you're like, there's like screaming there. Like, what the fuck? There's like, oh, and then why is this affecting me so much? And then you find out it's like, dude, that whole thing was this, like.
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you listen to like some really like ripping harsh noise. It's like fist pump stuff and all that. But with like wall noise, you kind of have to stop and listen.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. If it's through like a PA, like a proper one, the wall noise guys are always going to bring down the house. You know what I mean? Like the building's not going to fall apart until like you just have that massive crumbling, unchanging fucking thing. But again, no whatever. I love Cut Up, like Sickness, whatever. Years of just being completely shocked by it all the time, and like. Yeah. And all those, like, so yeah, it was nothing about that. And now, but I mean, ironically, now I I look at like what all those guys were like doing, and even I've done. I have like a few albums, if you like poke around in my discography, where I'm doing like really rapid, fucked up pedal noise, like changing tons of changes and shit. And, but again, but now I look at it like, after like a career that I do look at Cut Up noise like a wall of noise, right?
Yeah.
Or the way that we look at a wall of noise, where it's just kind of like a graph,
Yeah,
so
true.
It's just a way of like looking at it.
I was looking at your discography, and I noticed that you did quite a few splits with Keith Brewer.
Yeah.
Doing the at least in Mania days, but did you do any splits during the Taint era?
He was actively doing Taint when I was talking to him, but he was like kind of switching. Mania was kind of taking over everything though.
Yeah.
And
how did you kind of connected with him?
In the weirdest way. I think it's not that weird, but actually not weird at all, just rad. It was like all through the 90s I like bought anything like Taint, it's just you buy anything Dead Body Love, you buy fucking anything Macro, and you buy anything Opium In, and you buy anything Taint, right? Like
naturally,
or and Skin Crime. Like there's just a handful of guys you just fucking buy. So my Taint collection is like unhinged, right? Because I was lucky enough to just be there.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I remember talking to like Romer, and I was just kind of, because like a lot of us, we were like writing letters with Joe Romer, and he was always super incredible about writing everybody big long letters back and shit. And then I remember finally just being like, how can I fucking get a hold of Taint? I didn't think I knew his name, and then he was just like, oh, but Romer was smart, and he was just like, no, you can't. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, no, like, it's next level. Like, he's not gonna, like, he trades in a different world. And I'm just like, whoa, But it was awesome. But back then, I'm just like, yeah, he's right. Like, I don't know who the fuck,
Yeah.
The only people I know he talked to were like Skin Crime and Romer, like, so who actually knows though? But anyways, one day, out of fucking nowhere, I got an email from Keith, and he said, my good friends in the band Bone All are trying to get a hold of you. Can I give them your email or your contact? And I'm just like, is this fucking Keith from Taint? Like, what the fuck? And then and we just started talking about like black metal and just whatever else, right? And
nice.
But he was Keith from the start. I mean, like, it's fucking Keith, dude. Like, he was fully standoffish the whole fucking time. It was awesome, you know. Like I'd be like, oh no, I'm really into this, and he's like, that's fucking shit, and I'm just like, oh, rad, you know, like, yeah. But we totally got along over, like, you know, rad, like, stuff outside of noise, like, you know, movies, just everything, right? So and then out of nowhere, he was really going hard with his Mania material, which is obviously much more noise inspired or whatever, right? And then not noise inspired, that's a dumb way to say it, but more like a driven, more like not like power electronics, like more just like a sound, you know?
Yeah, I would say like Mania was almost like a little bit like sound sculpting or something.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That.
So I mean, that was the opportunity for, and then I'm just like, he's, and he had access to guns and all this crazy shit, right? So it's just like, we did all that, then we worked on the Edwige thing. Yeah, it was just, it just went off from there,
Yeah.
So it was great. And here's me just being like, the fuck, I'm like working with Brewer all the time, and then we just became whatever, like friends, I even hung out with him once in Austin, which was hilarious.
Nice.
For a whole, I was in Austin because I was hanging out with Kayla Janice, and there was a spaghetti western night at the Alamo Draft House, and so he drove down to Austin and met me, and we just kind of like hung out all day, and then we like went to the Alamo Draft House for spaghetti western night and had spaghetti and meatballs. Yeah, it was just fucking sweet. It was funny.
It's kind of, at least for me, Keith always remained. Even though he had like quite strong online presence, at least at the special interest forum.
But that's the craziest thing is that the timing was really crazy, because the reason he reached out to me to get contacts with Bonal, which also became good friends of mine.
Great man.
Yeah, and all, and then they turned into collaborators too, right? But anyway, it was because Keith was suddenly just hanging out on the noise boards, which was also fucking up everybody, like en masse. Like they were like,
mysterious.
What the fuck? Like Tain's just hanging out, he's super opinionated and fucking awesome, and you're just like doesn't give a fuck who he's arguing with. The whole thing. Those days were fucking hilarious. Like the not special interest, like. The
Tronics board.
The Tronics board, and then the Maniac. Oh my god, the Maniac's the only part of it. It was just fucking crazy.
Yeah, that forum really went sideways. At least at the end, it was really crazy place. I caught the very tail end of that forum, but I remember I was like a really newcomer to noise, and I was like, whoa.
It's too bad though, because that forum was the shit. Like everyone was on it. Like fucking, it was insane.
Like Ron was writing there, and
oh, dude, like it was just fucking crazy. But a lot of people got butthurt because they found out there was this Maniacs Only part of it, which was just like kind of like the VIP section. But a lot of people, and then that got exposed, and then everyone found out, we were shit talking other people, and but I mean, it's like any other private forum, but what a lot of people didn't understand back then is that the Maniacs Only forum, a lot of us were like really good friends, so it was more of like there was a lot of like heavy shit on there, so it was more a place for like, it wasn't just us like shit talking like newcomers all fucking day. It was more like
sharing more.
I'm going through this
stuff.
bullshit, like what the fuck, like this fest or whatever, right? So anyway, So that getting exposed was just weird. We're kind of like,
I still think that those guys should put the forum back online, but just lock it up and let like people read it, because there's like so much.
Well, exactly. Because and then you look at who was posting, and you're just like holy shit, like everyone was fucking on here. It was completely it's very strange that it's not an easy thing for that world just to come back,
I think
because everyone's always like, oh no, it's on Facebook now, or oh no, it's on Instagram, but then you're like, not really.
I think those are kind of, there's no like personal expression really there. You just kind of show off maybe if you released new stuff or something like that, but not like deep discussions.
And even compared to Scream and Writhe, most of the people I see that are like deep writing or on special interests, right? But even the special interest board is kind of not weird, but you know, you don't know, like it's I think a lot of newcomers are on there, and they're like really love writing, you know, which is great, but I don't know.
I've been seeing a lot of like noise video clips, especially on Instagram and even on Reddit, where people kind of like post maybe a 30-second clip of them like doing some sound, but that's about it, and you never hear from those guys like doing actual noise releases. And I've been kind of thinking, what is the role of that in noise culture, or does it even have a role? Have you been exposed to this phenomenon?
Okay, I mean, not really. Like occasionally, like the only guys I'll kind of run into that are more like the trolls that are like creating noise online just to like be dicks.
But there's actually like a lot of people, especially on Reddit, like seriously posting just these like small clips of like them doing some sound.
Them doing I mean,
then they kind of like, I made this really amazing noise thing, but it's just a 30-second video clip. I don't think it really contributes in the big picture.
It's a fucking, I mean, not to like make us sound like old men, but it's like one of my coworkers at Sculpt's Skates is around like 20 years old, and he's like a kind of like a trap rap, like underground rap guy, and he makes good stuff or whatever. He recently did a remix I have on my Instagram of like he took the magazine album, and then he literally just took different tones he found in it and waveforms to create pop music out of it.
Oh, that's pretty...
So he created like an emo, I didn't even know it was a genre, he created an emo rap song only using tones he found in the waveforms of magazine. So I was kind of like all for it, like, you know, I'm just like, oh, that sounds fucking weird.
That's some serious digging up.
Yeah, it was hilarious. So he did that. But anyways, when I hang out with him, it's like, you really can't underestimate how literally a lot of the guys like him and all of his colleagues are in a fucking different world. Like the Spotify world and all of that is just like, it's like black and white. Because he asked me for advice a lot. Like, how do I get more exposure? How do I do this? And I'm just kind of, and then I just go fully old school on him. You know, like, oh, you know, like
Put out a tape.
Like, you know, like play live a lot more. Yeah. You know, like do this, you know, whatever. Like put out, and then he's just like, but then he'll show me his CV, and it's like he's already collaborated with like tons of really important hip hop guys, and they already have like hundreds of thousands of plays on this track, and I'm just kind of like that's a different fucking world.
It's something that I don't even kind of understand. If you have like a 10,000 listens on Spotify or something like that, I don't quite understand what it translates
But that's the thing, but no one's making any money.
Yeah.
But they're all collaborating and talking all day and working on stuff with each other, like constantly. So, and remixing each other's tracks and then posting those. And so it's almost like, again, not to sound like an old man, but it's like, is it better than slaving over a fucking 10 edition tape? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because they're putting a lot of work into this shit, you know? Like,
I think that's one of my like pet peeves, is that they sometimes like they see a lot of trouble to make a track or something like that. So like if you would make a little bit more like see to it and put it out on physical form.
Yeah.
But they nowadays quite often like focus on one song releases, digital releases and stuff like that.
But I think that's also why it's starting to translate into like mysterious noise artists that start playing, like they'll have like a show in town and you've never heard of them in your fucking life, and there's 400 people at their show that you've never seen in your fucking life. And you're like, okay, so obviously this is working then, I guess.
Something is happening.
You know what I mean? So it's like, So I don't know, like
That's a good point.
it's kind of like when Steve Albini wrote that incredible article where he said, "I'm getting old enough now where it's not exactly, but he said something like, I'm getting old enough now where I'm starting to figure out that I'm kind of a dick, like that I'm a fucking dick, right? And then I'm just like he said the insane clown posse is one of the biggest cult following groups in the world, and I think that they're fucking horrible." But then he said, but maybe I'm a dick. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong,
Yeah,
and
who
everyone
knows?
else is right. You know. So when this, so, but again, there are tangible things because since I've like started working with this kid, he's seen me like go to China, like go to come here, like go to Italy, like do all these things. You know what I mean? And then. But I'm also just like, well, dude, I've had to like work. Like, I'm 53 fucking years old. Like I had, it's not like it just started happening, So then he's like, but he wants that so badly, and I'm just like, well, so I don't know, like.
I guess the best starting point would be to get out of the digital world a little bit and like.
Yeah, just play like
because
because right now on Vancouver Island and Victoria, I mean the experimental noise scene is exploding, right? Because how it's always like. So I told him, I said, dude, just start like doing.
Get involved.
And then the I mean, again, we're just kind of using him as like an example, but I told him too. I said, don't like maybe fuck around more with experimental stuff, because it's because then you can get into like arts grants and this and way more tangible things, because it's hard to chase being like a rap artist, I don't know. But anyway, that's just an example of like what you're talking about, and I think a lot of these people making these weird little tracks, they're in that world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's like, it's like when I talk to fucking like whoever, like Johan or what, all these, and they're just kind of like, yeah, I don't ever make more than X amount of number of tapes because they don't sell. And then I'm like, so and then some of these people, that's all they're going to hear, I don't know. And then there's the Wild West of like Bandcamp and everything too, right? And it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I'm kind of in between with Bandcamp because again this digital culture is kind of missing the label as curator from between, and like everyone is shoving their stuff on Bandcamp and it's kind of getting littered.
Like on Bandcamp, I only put, I don't know if you already looked, but I only put you can't like download anything, like you have to buy like the hard copy, so I just use the Bandcamp website as a template for putting hard copies, right? But then still, like once every 1 or 2 years, I have to fucking spend an afternoon emailing everyone that I realized have my albums, because every time a label puts out a record, which I obviously always appreciate, they always just throw it up on Bandcamp, and then that's the Wild West part of it, where I'm just kind of like, all right. Like, and a lot of the times I never hear about that again. So occasionally I'll do like a I'll just be like, hey, just wanted to see what's up with the album that you put up on Bandcamp 3 fucking years ago. Oh, sorry, dude, I owe you like $11. I'm just like, okay, all right. But again, I always like a lot of that kind of stuff. I appreciate the amount of work and money people put into putting out hard copies. So a lot of the times I'm just kind of like, people will be like, they'll ask, can I put it up on my fucking Bandcamp too? And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, totally. Fucking just keep the money,
Speaking of, when we were talking about getting live exposure and playing live gigs, how long it took for you to play your first live gig?
It took around, so I started in like 95, like mid-90s, and it wasn't until I moved to Vancouver that Kelly Churko in the Hospital, their noise group was called Hospital, like not the Hospital label. It was like a Vancouver noise super group. They talked me into opening for them on a night, and then went from there, where I was and then it kind of like snowballed, because then we went to Portland I just came along as like a was just gonna play with them, like in their lineup in Portland, and R.R. Ron was at that. It was like a festival in Portland. He was there, and then out of nowhere, Ron's like, "Oh, the Rita's here." Like, he's not fucking playing with Hospital. He's playing solo, and I'm just like, "Oh shit!" And that's when I was still like nervous to, and. So and then that set worked out really well, and then then it just kind of like snowballed after that, where I'm like, oh shit, now I'm like a fucking like live artist. But I mean, it's impossible not to love doing it, because it's just like, when else do you get to hear your shit through massive like systems? You know what I mean? So.
There's a great feeling when there's a really good PA in the house and you can like just blast the fuck out of it.
And then once, and then I did it enough where it's like, I mean, this is always knock on wood, but it's like, as long as I get to the venue and I sound check and my gear works, there's just no nerves anymore. It's just, I know it's going to work, so it's like, and so, so I just love fucking doing it,
Did you have like a regular gig activity after that?
Yeah, basically I did. Yeah, so it was just and then Gordon Ashworth and Pedestrian Deposit asked me to go on a tour. So then that I owe a fucking shit ton to like Gordon Ashworth too, because I kind of became a regular with him. So like touring. So I toured America with those guys, and then. Yeah, so that was my introduction to like the fucking like American noise, like noise touring, and then Gordon, then we started organizing, going to and then all my first Europe tours were with Gordon too. Oh, wow. So it was like then he helped organize like a lot of that or whatever too. So it was and then at that point it was just on, like it was just like normal now. Yeah.
It's always crazy to hear these tour stories, especially like touring America, which is like a massive continent.
Yeah.
And like we don't really have that kind of. I can remember like having that many European artists doing like a European tour or something like that, because I guess there aren't that many gig places that would cater noise or something like that. But I guess it's a little bit different in America. Was there like there's that house show culture that we don't have here like at all, but I guess I don't know if it was that much in the noise scene, but
it definitely was. But I mean a lot of the most of the venues still, even back then, were like the one here, like I mean fuck, I'm such like a poser. I didn't fucking realize that Ollie and them like ran that fucking place. Like I was totally, because everyone's like, oh no, the place, it was always, Sam, that place they have is fucking killer, and I'm like, oh, the venue they rent, because even in New York and everything, right, it's like they always essentially have to rent the venues, even if the guys putting on the shows work there and shit, right? So so I thought that's kind of what it was. They had a close relationship, whatever this venue was, and then I'm like, but then yesterday when we went straight there from the airport, and I'm like, I found out it's their empire. And I'm just like, holy shit! Like, you guys are stoked, like Apex Clubhouse, like this is crazy. Anyways,
it's a very.
So anyways, it's all those early American tours. It was a lot of spaces like that. It wasn't just like houses. It was like so and so's got this warehouse, or so and so's got this, and there were still lots of like noise venues around too, right? So so, but I was also lucky enough to be like playing live when like the original No Fun was happening too, so there was like a lot of attention. Like it wasn't just like you're playing like these weird little shows. So like a lot of them were fucking wild. Oh, and I got and then via Gordon I got to tour Japan like a long fucking time ago too. So
nice.
Yeah, so it was on. It was cool.
Did you get to play the any of those legendary venues in Japan, like Volts and
no, I definitely did. I can't, my brain, after like all my skateboard concussions, I can't remember things right off the bat, but I did. I played like at least 2 of them, and with the legendary PAs, and like oh my god, it was fucking crazy. And there's no one has to worry about volume, like it was just so weird having a sound person that's just like no, it's going to be louder than even you.
Like,
like,
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it's rad as shit. The weirdest thing about those fucking live shows in Japan was that it was our very first show. We're in Japan, like fucking crazy, like and then we ate or something, and then we like, and of course work is kind of like oh, like, is there gonna be people like, you know, like whatever, like you know, is there gonna be enough like people that want to come to the show? So we like leave the restaurant, and then we see the venue, and there was a lineup like all the way down the street, like for the show, and then we were like, holy fuck, like it's on, guys, like whatever, and then they all went, you know, the venue opened, and they all kind of went downstairs, and then everybody that was in line bought a bunch of merch, and they all bought it from the woman that put our tour on, and then they just all left, and then we're just like, oh, so those guys left, and they're gonna come back for the show, and then she's like, no, they like, that's part of the noise scene in Japan, at least back then, is that there's the merch buyers, and they leave, they don't even fucking watch the show, and then we're like, what the fuck? And then a bunch of drunken maniacs showed up, like TADM, like, you know, like everybody, like. And we're just like, oh, okay, here. But then it was still good shows, but it was hilarious. It was just like, what the fuck? But anyway,
That's odd. Very strange.
But very like quote unquote Japanese. It was, yeah. Noisecast.